Respect is a non-negotiable in any relationship, and once it's gone, everything starts falling apart. Public shaming crosses a line, and today we're watching moments where husbands finally had enough and stood their ground. So make sure to subscribe. Let's get into it. This video is for entertainment purposes only. No offense or disrespect is intended towards any individual or group.
When I want something, I get it. We used to live in upstate New York, and now we live in Tennessee, and I realized that I wanted something in New York, so I told my husband that he was going to drive me to New York. So it's currently almost 7 a.m. and I just woke up. I'm feeling pretty good. And he's been driving all through the night, so I didn't have to deal with that. And now we're almost to New York, so I can get what I need. And then tomorrow we'll head back to Tennessee. Isn't he the best?
The patience is respectable. I mean, it's not every day that you're in a situation like this. And by the looks of it, he's trying his best not to ram that car into a tree or off the road. I mean, did you see how fast that looked? Insane.
You're not going to believe this. The other day, my husband was looking at our 2-year-old and he said, "Your nails are so short. They're always so short." And then he looked over at me and said, "How come her nails don't grow? Does that mean she has like a vitamin deficiency?" Keep in mind she's 2, and what this means is he has never cut or filed her nails in over 2 years. So I started thinking, wow, he doesn't know that I do that. I wonder if he knows how her butt gets clean. I wonder if he has any idea why her teeth are always white. There must be so many things he doesn't know or doesn't have to worry about. How amazing that must be. If I could change places with anyone in this world, I think it would be my husband. What a privileged man. In his world, the mini trash cans empty themselves. His mirror never has toothpaste splashes on it. Little by little, his house becomes more aesthetically pleasing and he has no idea how or why. He doesn't have to worry about giving the children their vitamins. He lives in a world where he doesn't know that you have to vacuum under the cushions of a couch. Tag your husband if he's one of the elite and knows these things.
Well, you can be a decent partner and tell him that you do all that, but there's no need to brag. But probably he does his share of the work too. I mean, either you can taunt in your demeanor or accept that each of you is good at some things. You know, that doesn't sound too difficult.
I've been crying all morning long. My husband told me that I needed to pack my stuff and get the fuck out the house. So I have my bag and I'm about to start packing. I literally have nowhere to go. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. Everybody in the comments was right. He does deserve somebody better. And I hope and pray that he finds someone better. I didn't know that me making that video was gonna, upset him so much. And it made him realize what kind of piece of shit woman I really am. I just don't know. I don't know what to do. And this should be a wake-up call for women that are like me. Please make sure you bow down to your man. Please make sure you cook for him. Make sure that you do his laundry or anything like that, because he could kick you out any time of the day. So please make sure that you cater to your man, okay? Suckers.
Well, even if it's for TikTok purposes, she's not really that wrong. I mean, the man doesn't require much to be happy, and if she's doing all that, then there's no reason for him to get all worked up over it. But, I mean, it does look like she's not doing what she's supposed to in his head, maybe? I don't know.
I do not accept a coffee or a walk as a possible date option, and neither should you.
I mean, listen, I'm glad she's setting expectations for herself, but this is the classic case of confusing personal preferences with non-negotiables, and when you do that, you filter out potentially great dating options. Planning a dinner date isn't exactly the gold standard of identifying a great partner. I mean, raise your hand if you've been wined and dined on a first date only for them to turn into an incredibly toxic person. Most people these days are meeting on dating apps and sliding into DMs, so instead of wasting time texting with someone you've never met, don't know their sense of humor, or how they use emojis, walks and coffees can be a great non-pressure situation of getting to know someone before you force each other to eat a whole meal of food with. Dating early on should be about getting to know one another, not testing their willingness to make an effort with total strangers. As things advance, so should their efforts. So get that dinner once you realize you like more than their angles or their dating app bio that says they like laughter, travel, and their dog.
That's like shooting yourself in the leg, because what will she do if she doesn't like the guy, right? I mean, that dinner date is going to be so awkward. And I mean, unless she's ready to pay, there's no reason for it to be a first dinner date.
The proclivity to negative emotion. Well, it's threat sensitivity. And if you're a mother of infants, being threat sensitive is unbelievably useful, because infants are extremely vulnerable. And so you should be alert to threat. You're alert to snakes. Well, what's the downside? Well, you're always afraid of snakes.
Miserable.
That's the downside. Well, yeah. Well, of course. But that doesn't mean that it doesn't have its adaptive utility. But it's still the case that if you have a disagreeable man who's very emotionally stable and a hyper-agreeable woman who's emotionally, who has a pronounced proclivity for negative emotion, it's going to be very difficult for them to communicate. There's other temperamental differences between men and women too. So if you look at extroversion, men are more, so extroversion is assertiveness and enthusiasm. Okay, men and women are about equal in extroversion, but women are more enthusiastic and men are more assertive, so it breaks there. And then in openness breaks down into interest in ideas and interest in aesthetics. And women and men are about equal in openness overall, but women are higher in interest in aesthetics and men are higher in interest in ideas. And you can see that reflected in the fact, for example, that YouTube is primarily a male domain. And that's because it tends to focus on ideas, the upper echelons of YouTube, let's say. So, and men are more, this is why men read nonfiction instead of fiction. It's the same reflection. And so you can imagine a woman and a man who have virtually no overlap in personality. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, that's going to be relatively rare because most of the traits overlap quite a bit. But in some, you could imagine that you could categorically distinguish them while they'd have a hard time communicating.
Yeah.
So
this plays nicely into, so two things. One, we won't touch too much on this because we can talk about this later, but we do have an idea to build a dating app that looks at the temperamental differences and personality between men and women and matches you based on that.
Yeah.
And a number of other
factors.
Well,
the empirical literature suggests that it's easier to get along with people who are similar to you in personality. And part of the reason for that is that part of the way that you get along with people is by sharing interests and activities. And what interests and activities you find compelling are going to be a reflection of your temperament.
Yeah, we'll look into that too, though. We could.
Well, with dad and mom, my dad and mom, for example, dad's an avid hunter, and dad's relatively disagreeable, which is one of the things you need to be a hunter, as it turns out. And mom is very agreeable, and she's not interested in hunting. And you had a bit of that.
Oh my gosh, we went gopher hunting one time.
Yeah.
So it was Julian and I when we were kids. And I don't think I'd have this issue anymore. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have this issue anymore. I think this is partly because I was depressed. Mm-hmm. A large portion, actually, I think, was because I was depressed. But we went gopher hunting because gophers destroy farmers' lands. Mm-hmm. So they actually want you to come and hunt gophers. And Julian's shooting gophers like left and right. He's probably 7 or something like that. And when you shoot them, they scream. Mm-hmm. They scream this high-pitched scream. Yep. And I sat in the car with my hands over my ears, so I was probably 9, and cried.
Right. Well, when I used to go hunting with Dad, I was too tender-minded for it too. So.
Tender-hearted?
Yeah, tender-hearted, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's a good example of how temperamental difference can, make a relationship more difficult, because there's little overlap in apparent interest. Mm-hmm. And Tam used to encounter that with her dad. Her dad was quite an entrepreneurial character, but he wasn't one of the world's most aesthetically sensitive people. He had no interest in art whatsoever, right? And he just thought it was a practical waste of time, like many conservative people think. And, she'd haul him along to a museum, and his attitude was, what the hell are we doing in this museum? And why have we been here for so long? Right. And that's a clear reflection of difference in interest. Your mom and I are well matched in that regard, because I might be more open than she is, but maybe in some ways, likely in some ways.
In some ways.
In some ways, yeah. Yeah.
She's
well, for a long time,
open.
She is. Well, she's certainly open enough so that isn't an impediment in our relationship. And she's very adventurous. Mm-hmm. So, her and I are quite well matched in temperament. She's probably less neurotic than me, I would say. Maybe.
I think there's some, well, we'll have to gather data and see, but I feel like there are some personality traits that can be significantly different and can still line up. Like, you couldn't put 2 neurotic people together.
No, that's why lesbian relationships don't last. But it is why.
That's going to get clipped.
It is why, because about 75% of divorces are initiated by women. And the simplest explanation for that is that on average, the most unhappy person in the relationship is going to be the woman. Well, why? Well, because on average, she has higher levels of negative emotion.
If most divorces are initiated by women, there must be a reason for that. So she remains unhappy, refuses to communicate, and then boom, the divorce papers arrive.
If I tell you to leave me alone, and you leave me alone, you're legit dead to me.
I think this gentleman should consider himself to be extremely lucky, because there are some women out there that do have this type of mentality. They don't want men to necessarily listen to the words that they say. They want them to glean the hidden meaning behind it all, and then do what they secretly want, but won't say.
Like, I can't believe you f***ing could do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, heaven forbid a man actually does what a woman says that she wants him to do. That's crazy.
Like, I was legit talking to a guy, and I said, I don't think we should speak anymore. He goes, okay, haven't heard from him in 5 days. Wow, that was too easy.
See, what they really wanted was for that guy to chase after them so that that little game that they were playing could continue.
The fact that your life just went on like that, like I was nothing.
I mean, that'll happen. A lot of guys, when they figure out that a woman is playing games, will absolutely be more than pleased to leave them alone.
Let's get this straight for a minute real quick. If he's not talking to her, what difference does it make if he's dead to her? You know, decide for yourself, right? I mean, either you want him around or you don't. I mean, this confusing middle ground, it's not going to help anyone.
Years ago, I was teaching on marriage in a fairly interactive setting, and I was allowing people to raise their hands and share and ask questions. It was a fairly small group. And this woman raises her hand, and I call on her, and I think she's going to, stand up and ask a question or something. Or maybe I didn't even think she'd stand up, because I don't think anyone else had at that point. And she stands up, and she begins berating her husband in front of everyone. And she is just criticizing him up one side and down the other. And there were a number of really good things that I could have said to her at that moment. I could have said, can I pray with the two of you after this meeting is over? Or could we meet sometime next week and get together and talk about this privately? Or why don't we all just take a moment as a group and pray for this couple? But because I was so shocked by what was taking place, I pretty much did the worst thing imaginable, which was this.
I mean, it really is no surprise that the woman going off on her husband left him shocked like that. I mean, screaming at your husband out of the blue in front of hundreds of people is extremely embarrassing for anyone, even if the roles were reversed. And it's a moment that you're going to remember for a very long time, if not the rest of your life. So he might not recover from that.
You were in a mutually violent relationship for 3 years, from 15 to 18. So you would beat him up.
He would say things that really upset me, and I would flip out, and I would just try to throw a punch or a kick or something, and then he would give me a black eye. He and I were together for 3 years. We were teenagers, so that was something to get over. And he passed away in November of 2023.
You him?
He committed.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's a weird thing because it's obviously he didn't start it, and then also we were teenagers. He grew up in a semi-violent household. I don't blame him. I can't.
Would you ever just initiate the violence?
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, so he was reactively violent.
Yeah.
Have you been violent in other relationships?
One time.
You're an abuser?
Low key.
So instead of communicating like normal people usually do, she prefers to strike him whenever she likes. And to make matters worse, she treated him like that when he came from an abusive household. Definitely an abuser. That's what she is.
Feel free. He's a cheater. 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 Look at the cheater. Turn around for your fans. He had a 2-year affair while I had his second baby. We intentionally had a second baby, and he was having an affair the whole time.
Brought her partner in the middle of public to embarrass him and then go home with him. Then what's the point of embarrassing him like that at all? I mean, apart from her enjoying this for God knows what reason.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, what did you say?
How was the lie?
No, what did you say before that?
What?
What did you say before that?
I'm gonna take my walk.
Before that.
You wanna do it?
Right.
What?
What did you expect me to say? I said no, but what did you expect me to say?
I never know. What difference does it make?
Well, it makes a lot of difference.
You're making a video.
Anyway, exciting times over here, just off the live and catching up with emails and TikToks. And anyway, that's what I get. You want to do it? Marriage 101.
This is a relationship where she acts like she's the boss and he can't help but listen to what she says because he's pressured to do so, or at least it seems like that. You know, this definitely isn't the tough love you think it is, though, because it's kind of a little bit manipulation, maybe. Not sure.
Decided that I was going to tell him that I wanted a divorce. I texted my therapist, our marriage counselor, and I was like, I need to tell him that I want a divorce, but I want to do it in a session so that there's like a mediator present. Got us in like ASAP, like 2 days later. And I walked in knowing that I was going to ask for a divorce. We sit down in our session. It's like really tense, really awkward. My ex was sitting there like, so why do we have an emergency session? Therapist was like, Jamie, do you want to start? And I just started crying and I was like, I want a divorce. You know, it's hard for me to like say the words. I'm done. I want a divorce. He sat there quiet. I'm sitting next to him crying. He didn't move. He didn't look at me. He didn't react at all. He just was stone cold. And eventually our therapist was like, would you like to respond? He responded right away and he's like, fine, let's just go ahead and finalize the details. And that was that. I looked at my therapist and I was just like kind of stunned. I knew that I was ready to leave, but I couldn't believe that that was his reaction. There was no empathy. There was no compassion. There was no like wanting to fight for us. I didn't think that there would be, but you know, you just always hope that like one last try. We went home that night. We didn't speak. He slept on the couch. I woke up and went to work the next day, came home. He was playing PlayStation that night. I sat next to him. We hadn't talked in 24 hours. I said, can we talk about what happened yesterday? And he was just playing, just looking straight ahead. And he's like, what's to talk about? In my mind, I'm thinking, this is our last ditch effort to like steer this ship around, you know? And I was like, so what are we gonna do? And he just kept playing and he was like, I already got an apartment. I already took my name off of the lease. He had done things within that 24 hours. He had opened up the filing folder of his single man life and went ahead and got all this shit done.
I don't really understand this. I mean, what more is there to discuss or fight for if she's uttered words you can't take back, right? I mean, these are unspeakable words in marriage. By saying this, she's ripped his heart out of his chest.
Why men don't apologize and why they get so defensive is because they can't face their shame. They can't face their shame because that shame is a core belief that they're not enough and their self-worth is in the toilet. A person reacts based on how secure they are with themselves. It's either you're going to get defensive or you're going to get accountable. And those are two different emotional reactions and two different actions that are not a symptom and reflection of you, but it's a symptom and reflection of their own insecurity and inability to take that accountability. And this isn't even men. This is women. This is men. This is anybody. You know who a person is when how they handle criticism. And how you handle criticism is, wow, I know I have inherent value. Someone shared something. Oh, okay, maybe let me course correct and challenge myself. Or maybe I didn't show up in the best way. Or maybe I can apologize. Or maybe thank you for bringing that up with me. And maybe there is a sting of judgment. Maybe there is a sting of feeling. But I'm not going to let that overwhelm me. And I'm actually going to step into what you're saying. Why? Because I inherently know I don't suck. I inherently know that I'm worthy of love and partnership. I inherently know that I'm awesome. So I could take that criticism and reflect because my core belief is that doesn't define me. I could always be better. I could always be smarter. I could always be more loving and all those things. So thank you for sharing. Versus, okay, wow, you don't think I'm enough? Wow, I always do this for you and that for you. Wow, you really wanted to bring this up right now? Wow, ba. Evade, avoid, defensive. And here's the thing. Everyone knows that cheating's bad, being angry's bad. All these emotional reactions are bad. So it's not like he even has a choice. It's not even like he even has the mental capacity to do so. This is literally an emotional reaction of his inability to face his shame and core belief of himself. So I don't give a damn that he has a nice fade. I don't give a damn that he has good teeth and a good hairline and good credit. How he faces himself and how he handles negative emotion, criticism, and adversity says everything about him, because that is the process of a relationship. It's not about like repair, fix. It's about how you fix. It's not about ripping or breaking or all those things. You're going to have arguments, but how does the person take accountability and how does the person listen and step into your shoes with a level of empathy, with a level of accountability and understanding? That dictates a healthy partnership. So if your ass thinks he's going to be better to the next woman, hell no. Yeah, he's nice to her now, but because she's a stranger. And we all know what happens once he gets to know someone, because it gets vulnerable and scary, and then he needs to push away. And then eventually the partner's going to end up saying something of criticism, and he's right back to where he is. But be happy, boo-boo, because you get to do this processing. And if you need help in your healing era, and you need help getting over an avoidant man, my 8-week boot camp does just that. And you're super cute. I'll talk to you later.
I mean, after all, when negative emotions overtake us, that is when our true character is really properly revealed. But when a girl stops being supportive and constantly becomes passive aggressive, for lack of better words, then the guy has no option but to probably really shut himself off and reply with little aggression himself. I don't know. It really depends on the guy, but I guess equality. I don't know. Fair is fair. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
You know, I don't know if people really understand this about men, but the number one silent killer in relationships with men is the shame that they carry. And it's crazy because it's so hidden that a lot of men don't even know it's there. And this could just show up in many ways in their life, but it shows up big time in their relationships. And I've been there too. Like, I've been a man that didn't know how to lead, that didn't know how to show up, didn't know how to express. I was very closed off. I was angry, that was defensive. Every time I was in the wrong, there was times where I didn't know what to do. There was times where I just couldn't figure it out. And in those times, I felt like a damn failure. Because society says that men are supposed to have it all figured out. Regardless of what y'all think, there are a lot of men trying to get it right. Some men haven't had a father in their life, and they're having to unlearn a lot of shit that's not theirs. They're learning how to feel, deal, and heal so they can show up better in their life and relationships. A lot of men know that love matters to them, relationships matter to them. The sad part about it is there are a lot of men out here who can't put into words what I'm saying right now. But they feel it, and they feel it internally, and it manifests externally. So yeah, it may show up as them being closed off, being angry or defensive. Or maybe they're trying to justify their bad behavior. But the truth is, a lot of men are hurt. And they're learning boundaries, they're learning how to heal, they're learning how to not be so anxious in a relationship, they're learning how to find their voice. And that's a beautiful thing as well too. Men want to be the best partners that they can be. A lot of them don't know how, so they feel shameful. They're afraid to even speak up, and this could become so overwhelming because this is just how the story has been for men. And it's time to change. So I'm inviting you all in the process of undoing the programming, so we can be open to receive a new love. Love on God.
Peace king 100%, right? Many of these dudes you see today are starved of love and emotion, and a lot of men are hurting, but only really because there isn't a woman by their side that they can really trust and confide in with that peace that they really want. Having a trustworthy woman can take a guy to a new level in height. It's pretty rare.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for? But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships, and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do, right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up, and I went to put something in the trash, and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle, and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me. Because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me, and it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic, it doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely some animosity there, and maybe it's because you both have full-time jobs. I'm sure something could be figured out if you both really tried.
To frustrate your man is to disrespect him in public, or to not be on one accord with him in public, or to make him feel as if he's a child in public. You have to be very careful about that, because if you want to upset him, if you want him to go to 10, if you want him to feel some kind of way, if you want him to shut down or even be aggressive, then treat him like a boy. Disrespect him. Don't be in agreement with him. Disagree with him openly. There's a way, and it's not that you have to agree with everything he say, how he said everything he does. But if you're going to disagree with him, be careful when you disagree with him publicly. When you all are together, you all are out to eat and you don't agree with him, be careful, because people pick up on your body language. People pick up on how you say things to him. People pick up on how you look at him. And when he feels disrespected, he may not say anything at that moment, but you'll eventually pay for that. You'll eventually pay for it with him stepping outside, which is a violation. You'll eventually pay for it with him shutting down. You'll eventually pay for it with him getting back and doing something devious or mischievous. So you have to be very careful when you violate in that way. Understand that he's a man and he wants to be respected. That's one of the top needs of a man, respect. Listen, he wants to be respected when he's around his friends, when he's around your friends, when you're around the kids, when you're around anybody in public. He wants to know that you respect him, and he wants everybody else around him to know that you respect him. So make sure that you show him respect. Make sure that you affirm him. Make sure that you're with him and that you agree with him. It'll pay dividends. Remember that. God bless.
A woman who makes this kind of mistake is definitely going to find it super hard to get back out of the hole that she digs herself into. I mean, treating a guy like a child is probably a massive mistake, one of the biggest you can make, because he's an adult. You got to treat him like one and solve arguments like adults. Talk it out.
My husband keeps getting more attractive and I don't like it. Me, 32 female, and my husband, 32 male, have been together for 8 years, married for 5. I am not ashamed to say I was the pretty one in our relationship when we were dating. Before we got married, he was around 280 pounds and 5'11". Didn't know how to choose clothes for himself. He hates shopping. And he had a bald head. I fell in love with who he was as a person, even though I never cared for his looks. I was secretly assured that he wouldn't cheat on me. He specifically lost around 100 pounds. Oh, well done. And turns out he has very blessed genes. I'm talking full-on abs and everything. By this time, my husband is a very attractive man. Then a month, we went to our company's anniversary party with his co-workers. I noticed that women at the party were just swooning over my husband, and even worse, he didn't even realize it. I don't like how much attention he's getting. I feel like such a POS for wishing he stayed physically the same.
That's just awful, because why would you not want your husband to be attractive to you, right? If other women have their eyes on him, then that's on them. Be a decent partner and, for once appreciate the change in him.
I forget where it was. She came into my office. She was threatening me that she was going to embarrass me, so I asked her to step outside. And when I stepped outside, she got louder and more aggressive. Then she started hitting me, and then I said I was going to call the police. And she got in her car, so I called you guys that she was getting in her car, going to drive away. I forget whether she was about to drive or hadn't gotten in at that point.
Under investigation. You're not trying to work for me. You're trying to work for him. He has a lot of money. You're not.
Okay?
You're not.
So you don't wish to answer any questions?
I'm asking you, do you know what DCF has discovered?
Before we move any further.
Do you know what DCF has discovered?
She was a little bit loud before she got cuffed and got set in the car, so maybe next time try talking to your partner with the same voice that you're talking to the cop with, and you might not be in the back of a police vehicle, but that's just the peanut gallery talking, I guess.
His military husband's morning routine turned into a life-changing event when he decided he had enough of his wife's behavior. He walked into the police station looking for help on how to deal with his abusive wife, who had been physically and emotionally hurting him and had cheated on him while he was deployed, but didn't want to ruin either of their careers. He then revealed shocking evidence that left no doubt, providing the police with everything they needed to take action. The video shows the man getting ready to leave while his wife keeps pressing him about his silence, quickly escalating the situation. When he didn't respond to her claims, she became physical, and he had pointed out this wasn't the only time. As he continued to speak with the officer, he noticed his wife's car outside and informed the officer that she was aware of his location as they shared their location. The officer then began to gather her side of the story. When talking to the woman, she turned the blame on him, painting him as the one with the problem. In the end, the officer saw through the woman's lies and was placed under arrest for battery under domestic violence law.
Cheating on him while he's in the field is unbelievably diabolical behavior. It's kind of funny how they usually play the victim when they're exposed in these cases, especially in these scenarios.
We go to QT for 5 minutes and this is what we see. Wait for it.
Well, that screaming therapy probably woke everyone up within a 5-mile radius, but that's just my opinion. I mean, a little reactionary, but, could have been better if it was in public.
I offered to rebook her, and she just went off. So I denied her boarding. She's not going.
Okay, but are you gonna rebook her for tomorrow?
No.
I need to go home to my kids tonight.
Man, listen to you. You need to calm down because you're gonna.
You're right. I have kids.
Okay,
I can't calm down. I have kids. Get us home.
I will get us home.
This is the second.
My
this
job.
is the 48th. This is the 50th
My
hour.
job.
I've been away.
Job.
Get it done.
Let's do it. We got this. We got this. We got
Do
this.
it.
Why aren't you open to reasoning? Why can't you step out of the
Because I have kids.
I understand that, but you're gonna get arrested. Is it worth it?
Let's stop.
Yes.
No. Come here. Come here.
Yes.
Come
It's
here.
been 2
Come
days.
here.
I haven't been home with my kids because of Southwest. I'm 2 hours away from my kids.
You can't get there. It's impossible.
Oh, you're going to leave. We have to leave. You're gonna get it in the back of a car. We have to go.
Take me.
Please.
Because I want to see my kids.
Using kids as an excuse for something that you want is quite a new low, I have to say. I mean, he's stuck in the same situation as you. I mean, there's really no need to be like that. Beyond that, though, that concludes the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more content like this in the future, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay strong.